Listen carefully, because this message is not ordinary. It is not logical. It is not what the world has been teaching you. Go to school, get a degree, search for a job, struggle, survive. But today something deeper is calling you. A voice within, quiet, powerful, undeniable, whispers. Don't look for a job, become the source. You see, the world has conditioned you to believe that your security lies outside of you. That opportunity is something you must chase. That money is something you must beg for. That success is something granted by others. But what if I told you that everything you seek is already within you? You are not here to chase opportunities. You are here to create them. You are the source, not a seeker. This is a truth that the world has tried to hide from you, but it is the most powerful reality you can ever awaken to. From the moment you are born, society trains you to look outside yourself for security, for validation, for success. Go to school, get a degree, find a job, work hard, survive, they tell you. And yet, no matter how much effort you put into this external search, something always feels missing. The opportunities you chase are fleeting. The recognition you crave is temporary. The sense of security you hope for is never fully yours. This is because you are looking in the wrong place. Everything you seek, wealth, freedom, purpose, fulfillment, does not exist outside of you. It is not something to be hunted, bargained for, or earned from another person. It is already within you. Your imagination, your awareness, your consciousness, these are the tools through which reality itself responds. When you realize this, the entire way you approach life changes. You no longer wait for someone to give you permission to succeed. You no longer beg for opportunities to appear. Instead, you understand that you are the origin, the generator, the creator. You are not a passive participant in life. You are the active cause of every circumstance that enters your experience. When you identify yourself as a seeker, you are admitting a lack. You are telling the universe, I do not have enough. I am not enough. I must search outside myself for what I need. And reality, always faithful to your assumptions, will mirror that belief. The world will continue to place obstacles before you. Doors will remain closed. Opportunities will feel scarce. This is not punishment. This is simply the law of consciousness. Your outer world is the reflection of your inner state. But when you shift your awareness and claim your inner source, everything changes. Instead of asking, where will I find success? You begin to feel, I am the source of success. Instead of hoping for someone to recognize your value, you know that your value exists independently of any external approval. You begin to operate from a state of abundance, not need. You no longer chase what already belongs to you. You allow it to flow effortlessly because you are aligned with it internally. The world begins to respond to the state you occupy. Opportunities, people, and circumstances that previously seemed distant now come to you naturally, as if drawn by an invisible force. To live as the source is to awaken the creative power that lies dormant within every human being. It is to realize that your imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the blueprint through which life is shaped. When you imagine yourself free, prosperous, and empowered, you are not pretending. You are engaging in the act of creation itself. Feeling yourself in that reality, embodying it fully, is the key. Your outer circumstances are secondary, they follow the signal of your consciousness. The richer, more confident, and more capable you feel internally, the more the world reflects that state back to you. Do not look outside yourself for proof or validation. Stop seeking employment, titles, or permission from others to feel worthy. Your worth, your power, and your abundance are already within you. You are not a passive observer of life, waiting for it to give you something. You are the source, the origin, the very force through which life manifests. When you awaken to this truth, struggle ends, lack disappears, and freedom becomes your natural state. Your world does not need to change first, you need only change your awareness. Everything you desire flows to you because you are no longer seeking it, you are being it. Identity creates reality. This is a truth that most people fail to grasp, yet it is the very foundation of every experience in your life. Everything you see around you, every circumstance, every relationship, every opportunity is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. The outer world is never the starting point. It is always the mirror of the inner world. You may look at others and think that success, wealth, or happiness comes from external events, from luck, or from people giving you permission. But the moment you realize that reality itself responds to the state of your consciousness, everything changes. The question is not what the world can give you, but who you are being in your own awareness. To see yourself as already successful is not arrogance. It is not fantasy. It is the key to shaping your reality. When you carry in your mind the image of a fulfilled, powerful, prosperous person, you are sending a signal to life itself. Life does not distinguish between imagination and so-called reality. It simply manifests according to the state you inhabit. When you see yourself as lacking, struggling, or waiting, the world reflects that back to you with perfect fidelity. Opportunities seem scarce. Doors remain closed. People doubt you. Circumstances conspire against your efforts. You may blame the world, but the truth is simple. Your external world is always a faithful reflection of your inner state. But when you consciously choose to see yourself differently, everything begins to shift. When you feel yourself already accomplished, already valued, already abundant, the world rearranges itself to match that inner reality. You begin to attract the right people, the right circumstances, and the right ideas. Events happen in your favor because your identity is no longer aligned with lack. It is aligned with power, with creativity, with fulfillment. Life does not resist the person who knows who they are. Life responds. Your identity is not determined by what has happened to you, by your past failures, by your education, or by the opinions of others. Your identity is the consciousness you choose to occupy in this very moment. If you choose to see yourself as someone limited, you will live a limited life. If you choose to see yourself as someone worthy, capable, and successful, the world begins to reflect that image back to you. It is not effort that changes your life, it is assumption. It is not striving that creates results, it is believing and living from the state of already having. Every successful person you admire operates from this principle. They are not exceptional because of circumstances, they are exceptional because they saw themselves differently. They imagined, they felt, and they assumed the reality they wanted until the outer world became an exact mirror of that inner vision. You can do the same. You can step into the consciousness of the person you wish to be and act, speak, and feel as if that person already exists. The world cannot help but respond. The doors will open. Opportunities will appear. People will align with your vision. Circumstances will serve your new identity. See yourself as already successful, not in some distant future, but now. Feel it, believe it, embody it. Let it saturate your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Your external life will follow inevitably. The key is to occupy that state consistently, without wavering. To doubt or to wait is to fall back into the reflection of old beliefs. To persist in the feeling of already having is to call forth a new reality, a reality that aligns perfectly with the identity you have assumed. The truth is simple: you do not become successful because of what you do, but because of who you are being. Change your identity, and your reality changes automatically. Life is faithful to the state of consciousness you inhabit. See yourself as already powerful, already abundant, already accomplished, and the world will reflect that vision back to you with perfect precision. Your outer world is simply a mirror. Change the mirror by changing yourself. Stop accepting lack. This is the single most important shift you can make if you want your life to transform. From the moment you say, I need a job, or I need money, or I need someone to give me a chance, you are declaring lack. You are declaring that what you desire is outside of you, that it must come from the world, that it must be earned, begged for, or fought for. And when you live in that state, the universe, always faithful, reflects exactly that back to you. Opportunities feel scarce. Doors remain closed. Circumstances resist. You work harder, struggle more, and yet the world seems to demand even more of your effort. You become trapped in a cycle of need, chasing what you think you lack, while the very thing you are seeking cannot be found outside of yourself. The moment you awaken to the truth that you are already chosen, already valuable, already capable, everything changes. Abundance is not something the world hands to you. It is something that flows naturally to the person who knows their worth. When you feel yourself as chosen, when you feel yourself as inherently valuable, the external world cannot help but align with that inner state. You no longer compete, you no longer beg, you no longer exhaust yourself searching for validation or reward. Instead, you attract effortlessly because you are no longer asking, you are being. Think about it carefully. The world rewards identity, not effort. It does not respond to how desperately you need something. It responds to who you are being while you wait. If your consciousness is filled with lack, the world will give you more of the same. If your consciousness is filled with power, choice, and value, the world will reflect that power back to you. Every job, every contract, every opportunity, every relationship flows to those who first see themselves as deserving, not to those who beg or plead. You must become the magnet that draws life to you, not the person chasing what is already yours by divine right. Stop telling yourself, I need a job. Stop saying, I hope someone gives me a chance. These words anchor you in lack. They keep you in the vibration of struggle, and struggle always produces more struggle. Instead, replace them with the truth. I am chosen. I am valuable. I am the creator of my reality. Speak it, feel it, live it. When you occupy this state, opportunities appear as if by magic. Doors open that you never even imagined. People respond to you differently. Circumstances align to serve your vision. Nothing you desire is denied to the consciousness that knows its own worth. This is not theory, it is law. The law of consciousness never fails. Your outer world is always a reflection of the state you occupy internally. When you stop accepting lack, you stop participating in the struggle the world presents. You step out of the crowd of seekers into the rarefied space of creators. You stop asking the world to supply what you already have within. You no longer beg for recognition, for money, or for opportunity. You simply live in the state of having, knowing, and being. And in that state, abundance flows naturally. You must stop seeing yourself as someone in need. You must stop measuring your value by external approval. The moment you recognize that you are already chosen, already valuable, already worthy of everything you desire, The entire universe begins to respond. Struggle ends, lack disappears. Effort becomes unnecessary. You do not chase life, life flows to you effortlessly because you have stopped asking for what you already possess. You have stopped accepting lack and stepped into the infinite supply that is your birthright. Manifestation begins with feeling and belief. It is not about effort, struggle, or convincing the world to give you what you desire. The world is not the source of your success, you are. Your imagination, your feelings, your inner conviction, these are the instruments through which reality itself is shaped. Too often, people look outward, hoping for proof, searching for signs, waiting for circumstances to change. And yet, nothing changes because they have not first changed themselves. True manifestation begins within. You must close your eyes, shut out the world, and see the life you desire as already yours. Not someday, not later, not when conditions allow, but now. The secret is to live it internally first, in the privacy of your own consciousness, until it saturates your being. When you see yourself as already successful, when you feel the emotions of having achieved what you desire, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. Your imagination is not a dream, it is the blueprint of reality. Every circumstance that appears in your life is first conceived within you. What you feel and believe inwardly will eventually manifest outwardly. If you wish for abundance, do not chase it externally. Feel abundance, live abundance, know abundance. Let it saturate your mind, your heart, and your very posture. When you embody it fully, the universe cannot help but reflect it back. Life responds to the state you occupy, not to your words, actions, or pleas. To manifest through feeling is to recognize that reality is not something happening to you. Reality is responding to you. It is a mirror reflecting the assumptions you hold. When you imagine scarcity, you see scarcity. When you imagine struggle, struggle appears. But when you imagine success, wealth, freedom, and love, and allow yourself to feel them as real, your outer world begins to align. Feeling is the fuel, belief is the engine. Without feeling, belief remains empty. Without belief, feeling dissipates. Together, they are unstoppable. The process is simple, yet few use it. Close your eyes. Picture yourself already living the life you desire. Hear the sounds, see the surroundings, feel the textures, smell the fragrances. Most importantly, feel the emotions. Feel the pride, the joy, the freedom, the excitement of having what you want. Do not think of it as a wish. Do not hope for it. Live it. Immerse yourself fully in the reality you wish to create. Let it consume your imagination until your inner world is completely aligned with it. When your inner world is saturated with the reality of your desire, your outer world cannot resist responding. You must act as if, internally, what you want already exists. Let the feeling of fulfillment be your constant companion. Let belief become so vivid that doubt and fear have no room to enter. This is how creation works. Not by convincing the world, not by pleading for opportunity, not by striving endlessly. It is by assuming the state of the fulfilled, by living as though the reality you desire is already present, and by persisting in that state with unwavering faith. When you do this, the world rearranges itself to match your inner vision. Events, people, and circumstances align perfectly, often in ways you never imagined. Remember, the outer world is always secondary. The primary reality is your internal state. Change that state, and your life changes automatically. Close your eyes, feel success, embody it fully, and the world will follow. Manifestation is not about waiting, it is about being. Live the reality of your desires internally with total conviction, and the external world will faithfully mirror your inner experience. You are the creator. You are the source. You are the one who shapes reality by feeling and believing what you wish to see. Creation over survival. This is the truth that separates those who live in struggle from those who live in freedom. Most people believe life is about surviving, about competing, about begging for positions, recognition, or opportunities. They are taught to measure their worth by what they can acquire, by what others can give them, and by how much they can endure. And so they live in fear, scarcity, and limitation, constantly scrambling for approval, constantly chasing what they believe they lack. But this was never the design of life. You were never meant to survive. You were meant to create. You were meant to occupy a state of power so profound that opportunities cannot help but flow to you effortlessly. To live in survival is to accept limitation as your reality. It is to see yourself as a victim of circumstance, a worker in a world that owes you nothing. It is to assume that your security, your happiness, and your success must be fought for, earned, or borrowed from others. And when you live in this state, the universe gives you exactly what you believe: scarcity, struggle, and endless effort. You work long hours for little reward. You beg for recognition. You hope that someone will notice your value. But the truth is, survival is a trap. It keeps you small. It keeps you dependent. It keeps you from experiencing the abundance that is your birthright. Creation, on the other hand, comes from a state of being. It begins within. When you occupy the consciousness of the Creator, you no longer need to ask, plead, or scramble. You no longer chase what is already yours by divine right. You assume a state of power, and the world responds. Opportunities appear. People are drawn to your vision. Circumstances align in your favor. This is not magic. It is law. The outer world cannot resist the inner reality of someone who knows their own worth and refuses to settle for survival. You must understand that begging for a position, hoping for approval, or scrambling to secure a role is a state of lack. It signals to the world that you do not trust your own power, that you believe your value depends on external circumstances. Creation, however, is a state of confidence, self-assurance, and unwavering faith. It is the knowledge that you are already chosen, already capable, and already equipped to bring value into the world. When you live from this state, life cannot withhold from you. Doors open effortlessly, money flows, and the right people appear at the right time. Not because you worked harder than others, but because your consciousness became the magnet that drew reality to you. To create rather than survive, you must first imagine. You must see yourself as the one who generates opportunities, as the one who shapes your destiny. Do not ask the world to hand you security or status. Do not hope for luck or favor. Instead, assume the state of the person who already commands their life, the person who already possesses freedom, abundance, and influence. Occupy that state fully. Speak as if you are already the source. Move as if you are already the one in control. Feel as if everything you desire is already flowing into your life. When you persist in this inner reality, the outer world becomes a mirror reflecting it. Survival is temporary. Creation is eternal. To survive is to live small. To create is to live limitless. The difference is entirely within your awareness. You are not here to beg, to compete, or to struggle. You are here to imagine, to assume, to live from the state of power, and to allow the world to reflect the greatness that already resides within you. When you do this, you realize something remarkable. You never needed to fight for your life. You never needed to hope for a chance. You only needed to step into your own power, occupy your own consciousness, and create the reality that has always been yours. Now, hear this clearly: the life you seek is not out there, it is within you. You were never meant to chase, struggle, or survive. You were meant to create, to occupy the state of power, and to live as the source of your own reality. Stop asking, stop hoping, stop accepting lack. Assume the identity of the fulfilled, the chosen, the powerful. See yourself already successful, feel it in every fiber of your being, and live it internally first. The world will respond not because it owes you, but because reality always mirrors consciousness. Opportunities, wealth, freedom, and recognition are not gifts, they are reflections of who you are being. Step into your own imagination, your own feeling, your own belief, and watch as the impossible becomes inevitable. You are not a seeker, you are the creator. Everything you desire flows naturally when you embody that truth fully.